Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? Well, my brother, my story, it goes on like this. I want to share with you everything that happened to me for me to be where I am right now. Yes, I am still alive, but I am struggling a lot. And all of these things, they were caused by my auntie, this auntie of mine. Everyone back in the village from where I come from, everyone knows that my auntie is nothing but a witch. I grew up staying with my uncle and this auntie of mine. This was after my dad and my mom had all perished in an accident. After they had passed away, then my mother's relatives, they took me and I started staying with my uncle. But my uncle's wife, she was a poisonous woman, a toxic woman, and she was quite a dangerous woman. In the village, everyone was scared of her. If she would send you to the bowl, then you would find out that there would be a long queue. People would actually give you the space to fill up your bucket. That is how dangerous this auntie of mine was back in those days. Well, my auntie was not supposed to get married to my uncle, but the story that we heard was that my grandmother, my mother's mother, she was also a witch. So in her club, when my auntie's mother passed away, then my auntie was then given that role to be a witch. And then my grandmother, she then suggested that my auntie was supposed to get married to her son so that they can be more like a tag team. My uncle was way younger than my auntie. My auntie was 7 years much more older than my uncle, and she used to control him a lot. And the way that my uncle passed away, that was when he had found a job in the capital city. When he came to Harare, he started working for this other white man. He was working as a gardener. So whilst he was working as a gardener, that was when he met this other young woman, and him being young, married to an older woman, he then said, let me try to date someone who is of my age. He was tired of the way that our auntie used to bully him around, because our auntie used to even beat him up when we would be watching. Then my uncle will not respond or do anything. Then when my auntie had that back there in Harare, my uncle had impregnated this other young lady. Then my auntie said, I want to see if she is going to give birth to that child. If she is going to give birth, then I am going to stop being a witch. And my brother, this was not a threat. That lady, she actually passed away. The story that we heard was that when she went to labor, the baby got stuck between her legs, and then she just died out of exhaustion because she had been in labor. We were told that she was in labor for more than 2 days, and the pains were not like going away and coming back. This was like constant labor pain. Then she passed away. Back to my story, my brother. After this thing had happened, my auntie tried to sleep with me. My auntie said that she wanted to sleep with me because my uncle had given her a heartbreak. So she wanted me to heal her heart. But I was scared because I was just a young man who was trying to be thankful because my uncle, he was the one who had raised me up. I was not going to eat from the same plate which he was eating from. So on that night when my auntie cursed me, the night when my auntie tried to sleep with me, it was during that time whereby in the maize field, the maize cobs were now green and they were still soft. So what we used to do back in the village was that we would take those maize cobs, then braai them slowly on the fire whilst we will be relaxing in the kitchen area. As soon as all of my auntie's children had gone to sleep, she then said that she was really feeling tired and she wanted to go and sleep. She then said, look after these maize cobs of mine that I am braaiing. I do not want you to burn them. When they are okay, I want you to bring them to my bedroom. So after I had seen that they were now okay, I then took them and I went with them to my auntie's bedroom. When I went to her bedroom, I then found her lying on her bed. She had switched off this paraffin lamp that we were using back in the village. She then said, look for the matches there. So as I was looking for that matchbox, I could not find it. She then said, let me come and help you to search for that matchbox. So there was a moonlight and we were using the light from the moon that was coming through the window because a curtain was opened up but the windows were closed. So as she was rising from the bed, I then saw that when she was sleeping in her bed, she was actually not wearing anything. She walked towards the place where I was and I was really scared. She then said, please heal my heart because your uncle is broken my heart. Please heal my heart and I am going to give you my blessings. I was scared because I kept on thinking, what is going to happen if uncle is going to find out that this is what I have done? So I refused and I said, I cannot do it. I cannot do it, auntie. She then chased me out of her bedroom. She said, you are very stupid. You are very stupid. You are going to see what is going to happen to you. You'll never achieve anything in your life because you have refused to do what I wanted you to do. I raised you up and this is how you repaid me. I ran out of her bedroom and I was really scared, my brother. Throughout the night, I could not sleep. Whenever I would try to sleep, then something that was so heavy will come. Then that thing that was so heavy would be placed on my chest. I suffered so much throughout the night. It felt as if the night was now more than 8 hours. Well, when the morning came, my auntie stopped talking with me. She was always shouting at me. It then happened that one of my uncle's younger brother came and started staying with us. Then one night I saw him entering into my auntie's bedroom and I knew that they were sleeping together because she had tried to sleep with me previously. Well, when my uncle, who was in Harare, came back, he then caught them sleeping together in the bed. Then he started fighting with this young brother. You know what my auntie said? My auntie said, if you are going to tell anyone, if you are going to inform your relatives, you are going to die. She just said, you are going to die, because when we had this commotion, we then rushed to her bedroom. Then we heard that they were busy fighting each other. That was when I clearly heard her saying that if you are going to tell any of your relatives about this story, you know what you did to me there in the city. You were staying with your second wife, and what do you think I feel about it? Well, this is tit for tat, so it has to stay between you, your young brother, and me. If you tell anyone this story, you are going to die. By my mother's grave, I swear to you that you are going to die. Then she kept quiet as my uncle kept on shouting at her. But my brother, the next morning, my uncle, he walked out and he went and he spoke with one of his brothers. When they were returning back to his own compound, he was then struck by a puff adder, and my brother, in the village, for him to be rushed to the clinic, it was already too late. His leg got so swollen and it was changing color. My brother, that is how my uncle passed away. Fast forward, when I was about 25 years, that was when I decided to move out of the village and I came to the capital city. When I came to the capital city, I then found a job. I was working at this company that is called Fawcett. I was working as a security guard. The money that I had gotten, I then returned back to the village at this other growth point where a lot of grocery stores will be at in that village. I then found an opening and I then opened up my small shop. We call it a tuck shop. The day that I opened up this small shop, when my auntie heard that I had opened up my small tuck shop, she came. At that time, I was no longer staying at a compound because I was scared of her, so I was now staying with one of my uncles. She came, my brother, and she was clapping her hands, and she didn't even walk into that shop. She was just standing outside, and she was like, "Oh, here you are now a rich man. You are now a rich man." And my brother, in that small shop, There was nothing in there. It was just a few biscuits, some cigarettes. I used to sell a lot of cigarettes and just some few knickknacks. That was all that I was selling. I was still trying to start a business, my brother, but she was saying, you are now a rich man. Very soon we are going to read about you in the newspapers. Very soon you will be having a truck that will be going to buy some groceries there in South Africa. I thought that she was praising me, but she was actually cursing me. It's right. When I was fast asleep, I had a dream. In this dream, I saw a rat. This rat, it was chasing after me because I was walking from that shop, returning back to the place where I was staying at my second uncle's house. Then there was a rat that came out of nowhere. This rat then started chasing me. As this rat was now chasing me, I then ran into that room that I used as a bedroom. Then when I entered into that room, just when I was about to hide behind this other wardrobe, I then saw that I had forgotten to close that bedroom. So I said, I have forgotten. When I tried to return back to the door so that I can close it, I then saw a rat. This rat, it then transformed and it became my auntie. My auntie was holding a big jar that was full of 5-cent coin. She then pushed me to the bed and she was holding a knife as well. As she was holding that knife, I felt powerless. That same sleep paralysis that used to affect me when I was staying at her compound, it had returned and it was more powerful. That sleep paralysis, as it was holding me, my auntie, she then started ripping my leg open and she started laughing. And she was inserting those coins. She inserted all of those coins until all the coins had entered into my leg. She then started sewing my leg back together. Then she walked out of that bedroom and she started laughing. From that day onwards, I had a painful leg. It was really painful. I went to the clinic. They tried to assist me, but they could not assist me. I stopped going to work because the place where I used to go to work to, I had to use a bicycle. It was really painful for me. Then in that area where I was staying, there was this other prophet. This prophet then said that he wanted to assist me, my brother. As he was assisting me, he did this thing that they call Kwaaka, whereby the prophet will start fighting with that evil spirit that will be in your body so that it can possess you. Then it will start speaking. Then my auntie's voice came out of me. She was laughing and she was crying at the same time. That was when I started pointing at my own leg, but in that moment, it was my auntie's spirit who was possessing me. She pointed at my right leg and she started saying, this is where I inserted that coin. This is where it is. That coin is what that coin is what is making him to go sick, and he will never be cured if he continues to go to the clinic. It can only be cured by a traditional healer. Then that prophet said, point at me where this 5-cent coin is, my brother, at the back of my hip. That is where she had inserted this 50 cent. That prophet then pulled it out, my brother, and I saw that this 50-cent coin, it was there, my brother. From that day onwards, I was able to walk, but this pain, especially when it is cold, the pain returns back to me. I am even afraid to return back to the village because this auntie of mine, I know that she is a witch. A lot of stuff used to happen to me when I was staying in her compound. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear brother. Our dear brother was saying that he had this other uncle's child of his. This man, he said, was not very bright in school, but he was someone who could run very fast for short or long distance. So that is how he got into the army. He didn't get into the army by his education qualifications, but because he was able to run when they were training them in record time. And when he graduated, when he returned back to the village to tell his relatives that finally he had graduated, this man, within a couple of months, he was paralyzed. This man, he said, is there in the village. He uses a wheelchair. All of his days, he spends it while he's drinking traditional beer. There is no one, this man said, from his mother's relative side who has succeeded in life. All of them, it seems as if there is a spirit that is holding them back. He said that in my mother's family, for you to be someone who is better in life, it's either you are a gardener or you are a maid. That is all that they can be in this family. Strange things do happen in this world.